time no see. Welcome back to fanSERVice podcast. Hey fandom.
You said it like an idol.
And you wanna know why? Because you should make some noise. Because we just came back from seeing ATEEZ at Citi Field. It's our second time seeing them there. How are we feeling?
They made a great night.
They did make a great night.
I was thrilled.
Do you think that is in the script?
I don't know, but at this point, I think the fact that almost every K-pop concert we've been to, they all start with the same, make some noise, let's make a great night, long time no see, I love you, like all the same sayings. I'm kind of like, I don't know if they're just like, okay, use your grab bag of American sayings, use your grab bag of English, and then we'll get on to the script. I don't know, but I love it. I do too. Because honestly, that's all I need.
That's all I need.
You don't even have, I don't care. If you're going to do the songs that I know and I love and you're going to do the choreo, I don't care.
And if you actually are going to have a great night, I'm not mad.
You're gonna have a great night.
I'm not mad ever.
Yeah.
I always just find it really sweet when there's a script and you can tell that it's obviously scripted and it's like, okay, here we go. But I get it because it's not your first language. You have to speak to these people and you feel obliged and necessary to like speak in English because you're on American soil. I get it. I don't say this lightly though. You don't have to, sweeties. I love it. That's what the translators are for.
Yeah.
And you get paid too.
I like that you can tell that they work really hard to learn though. Like I always think that's so, like, I'm flattered.
Yes.
I always think that's so nice that, and it's sometimes too when you can tell like it's on the teleprompter and they'll be reading, they're like, that word. Oh, I love that. Because even, well, we'll get into it more, but when their mics turned off. So we were at Citi Field. We were at the day in Citi Field. And their mics turned off and they all gathered around the little iPad to try to write down like 5 minutes please or whatever because we were screaming and we couldn't figure out what was happening. And I'm not gonna lie, it probably took them 5 minutes to write 5 minutes please. Yeah. But like, it was so sweet and it was so endearing and you were like, oh, like they wanted to communicate to us. And the way Sam like sprinted off the stage to get like, we gotta tell our friend, like we gotta tell them what's going on. It was great. It was very heartwarming.
Forrest jumped right off that stage. That shit was amazing. No, but I will say I was really excited to go to this concert because obviously we had mentioned it before, but we were at the infamous Citi Field concert last year when everything got rained out for about 2.5 hours of delay.
Yeah.
And that was a fun time for all three of us who went. To say that we were holding on by a thread is an understatement.
Yeah.
But we got through it and they put on such a miraculous show, especially for people who were probably very distressed and scared, and there was wet on the stage. And it continued raining too, so it didn't stop. But it was really, really great. And we knew for a fact that if they were going to come back, we were definitely going to try and see them if in our means. We must note really quickly, a lot of K-pop groups are on tour. A lot of K-pop acts are on tour.
Yes.
And they are not, for lack of a better term, affordable. A lot of them.
Yes.
I will say that we paid about the same amount of money we paid last year to be on the floor at ATEEZ,
which was great.
This year, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And we waited.
Considering they got more popular.
Yes, and everything was a lot more cohesively. It just felt like we weren't spending that much to go see ATEEZ.
Yeah. No.
In the end, we definitely waited till the last minute. If you guys know, like, not that last minute. We had it was about a week. Beforehand that we got the tickets, which is a nice hack. If there are still tickets available to these tours, which a lot of them are, because let's be honest, they are not selling out. They are choosing bigger venues. It may not be the worst thing to wait until a week before to get your tickets. It also is most likely not going to be that large of an expense depending on who the artist is and where it is located. But Citi Field, there were a lot of tickets left.
Yeah.
We got the floor. It was amazing. And we ended up bringing some people with us.
Yeah, so I was skeptical about the process because for me, K-pop has definitely been something that is fun to do, but like it's my little happy place thing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't super. I just didn't know what to expect. So I invited my mother and my nephew because over the summer I usually have my nephew. It's my little buddy. So I knew that he was going to want to come. And then my mom is a jazzercise instructor. Shout out jazzercise. And she has been having increasingly more K-pop songs on her jazzercise playlists because they only afford like certain artists, I hate to say. And a lot of the K-pop artists do end up like commingling with whatever labels are allowed to be utilized by Jazzercise. So she has like Red Velvet songs, ATEEZ, she has a couple BTS songs. There's a couple other artists that come up for her. So she knew ATEEZ and she knew work, and that was like her Jimmy Jam. And that was always one of her like high energy routines that she did in her Jazzercise class. And when I told her I went the first time, she was really excited. She was like, oh my God, like tape it for me, whatever. But my mom is not, she's not a fangirl. She's not a fanny. So I was kind of nervous to see how she was going to respond to it. And like, it was just a different thing. So I didn't know what was going on. And my nephew is a teenager. So I don't know. But they ended up being really cool. I was glad. I don't think they didn't ruin the experience for me. Yeah. But my mom was awesome because she was like a really solid addition as far as like for us, helping hand out freebies, like helping us, with like taking pictures and like doing the interviews and doing the stuff that we needed to do. She's just down, and I love her, and I'm very grateful for her. And my nephew did his best. And he's a Jungle bias. Yeah. So we did find that out. And he was very, he enjoyed the concert. It was his first concert ever. So that was also why he ended up coming. He enjoyed the concert, but I think he was still like overwhelmed. I don't know that he'd ever been in a crowd of people that big. So I think he was a little overwhelmed by that because he was like, this is a lot. And also, a teeny little bone to pick with you. My mother and my nephew sat together, and they were much further back. We were on the floor. And my mom and my nephew said that there were fans behind them screaming like, oh my God, I'm so wet. Oh my God, I'm gonna squirt. Oh my God, this is so fucking hot. Oh my God. And like, listen, guys. Listen, kiddos. Hey, man. Hey, listen. Hey. As my husband would say, listen, brother. Listen, brother. Bro, come on, bro. Don't do that. Yeah. Do it internally. Please, like, what?
And it's kind of like a lot.
Yeah.
Like, now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not a hypocrite, because what?
But you weren't screaming that. You were like, oh my God. You're like, wow. It wasn't.
I did say in passing, but I wasn't screaming it to the hills.
You were not. Because we have all the videos.
Yes.
Because we made a fucking vlog. So we have all the videos.
No, but you know how sometimes when you were really excited. Now, I will say the main issue I had with the way they were screaming is because these were people who were about the same age as your nephew. So that's why I was like, that makes it a little weird for me and uncomfortable. We were in a row of people who were like, the demographic of 24 to 30. So like it's different. Like it's gonna give like whatever we say and how we're talking to people in front of us and us being like, oh my God, like, oh my God, Mengi, you're so hot. Like it's different. But like, if anything, enjoy the concert, have fun,
but be a little aware of your surroundings.
Yes,
and be respectful, because honestly, it's not Magic Mike. Like just because Wooyoung came out with his shirt off, it is not a strip show. Like, he's singing and doing choreo, like,
about his love for his fans.
Okay,
it's the truth, though. That's the entire song.
But you're not helping me prove this point. Anyway, ATEEZ, I think, is the horniest fandom that we've experienced so far this summer.
Yes.
And we'll keep you updated on how that continues.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated.
But they are...
I will say, though, the shift in the material helps to lend that.
Absolutely.
So I agree. Mad about the idea that you're going to start having... the whole vibe very much is giving... There are moments throughout the songs, baby. I'm just being so for real. Like, y'all are... That's the point. But it did make for an interesting anecdote to give for somebody who's at their first concert and you're like not used
because
to
I think coming from Towards the Light, I knew that there was a sexual bent, right? We had the whole like biting the handkerchief moment, right? But I didn't think the audience was gonna be as much, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's because I probably wouldn't have invited family if it was, I don't remember.
But I mean,
because they didn't do anything that was too like, ooh, risque.
No, but that's the vibe now for everything. And it's definitely grown as the tour is going on. I think that there's definitely a more exploratory based way that they're doing stuff, which I don't hate, because I think that with ATEEZ, it's just lending the idea of like we're growing up, so like our fandom kind of is too, because a lot of these fandoms are somewhat within the bubble of if they're younger, they're just a tiny bit younger than you, and then kind of going onward. So I do understand why. I mean, we came from Stray Kids where he said let's get dominated in the beginning of the concert. So like
he did
like we're not gonna sit here and pretend that it's not giving sexual fantasy some of the time. But it you know, and so the audience is sometimes going to match that, sometimes outmatch it, because that's what they love to do. So it's going to get interesting. Now it is weird to hear 16-year-olds say that they're going to do things that are very sexual, outwardly. So that was a little odd.
I feel like Towards the Light was sexier though.
I will say there was a lot more time spent in this one where it was clear that that was the point, whereas Towards the Light, it just happened to be sexy. Like, that's what it was. It was like tasteful. Mm-hmm. I'm just throwing in a little bit of choreography. I'm hot. Mm-hmm. And then this one, they were like, I'm a creep. I'm going to grind really quick, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. I also brought somebody.
Oh, yeah, you did?
Yes. I brought my god sister, who is a fangirl. But it has been a minute since we had anything to really fangirl over that wasn't like strong, amazing performer women. That's more of an American issue in my opinion. But so she is open to certain things, so it wasn't so crazy to be like, okay, like I'm going to this concert, and she was like, oh, I'd be interested in going. I was like, that's kind of funny. Sure, I'm down for that too. And she was so gung-ho. She was like, I'll be on the floor with you. Sent that money over like it was no problem. I said, okay, that's sweet. Even though she saw Beyonce twice, by the way. Expensive. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, we're down. Okay, like, what's the vibe? Like, outfit-wise, she came correct. I said, awesome. And she ended up being a really big help to us as well, because when we were on the floor, we were able to do interviews, and she was able to like be around for that, help take pictures, help be around just in general, get us drinks so that we were kept being happy and lubricated. That was a weird word I meant to say. Anyway, hydrated. Cut that. Hydrated. She made sure we were hydrated with drinks and everything, so that was really nice. I was really, really happy to have her along, because I love my god sister for many different reasons, but one thing I knew was that if out of the 3 people we brought, she was going to be the one who would probably be the most easily accepted into the ATEEZ fandom.
For sure.
And it happened immediately. For sure. And thank God.
In her defense, Mingy with the top knot.
With the top knot, which was a weave. I've never felt so connected to my bias.
Are we talking about things that happened after our concert?
At this point, we should know. Everyone should know.
Everyone knows.
He had the Li Shang top knot. It looked amazing. The scream, I scrumped. The chest banging, I chest banged. I was unwell.
It was not a Hawaiian yaki. Like, that was pressed.
That was pressed.
I don't know where he got that shit from. But she was blended to the gauze.
And I didn't even break my heart that it wasn't real. It honestly made me feel so much closer. But it was so funny because obviously it wasn't our concert, and I don't remember where exactly it was. I feel like it was Chicago. But like when the top knot came out and Hong Joon had to just pocket that like the ally he is, like, I felt so happy.
Mingy girls are unwell.
We're not mentally well. And I can say that because I'm one of them, so I get it.
And he's not going to let you be.
No, he will not. He made us bark multiple times. He like enforced us to, and not only that, he shushed the crowd with such like
that was crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
I am not a Mingy bias, but I loved that.
That was awesome. I will say more so than even last year's, we definitely prepped a little bit better for this concert because we have now learned the secret ingredient of how to be really comfortable for a lot of these shows is to drive.
We didn't know we were going last year.
That's true.
We discovered them like 4 or 5 days before the concert last year?
It was like a week.
Oh, so the same time we bought the tickets this year.
Yeah.
So we didn't know. We were not prepped for that.
We were not prepped. But we still like for being not prepped, we got together outfits very fast. We got together like a lot of things, and we like made a plan of like, okay, we're leaving at this time, we're getting trained. Like we had a plan that was easy to enact to get to Citi Field and back with no real like.
But getting back was a pain in the dick.
Was a pain, because New York needs to fix that right now. It is not easy to get back out of the city at these events, and it's been that way since last year, but there's been a lot of issues with
Did we even talk about when we stalled after Stray Kids? After Stray Kids, it stalled, and we were literally on the tracks for an hour.
Yeah.
And our tickets weren't even reimbursed. It's not like they gave us back the thing, because to get back from Secaucus and like the first 3 stops outside of New York Penn, you have to scan the code on your phone. And the codes are only open for a certain amount of hours because they know how long your trip is supposed to be. So if you have to scan it to get on the train or you activate your ticket, you can't scan it to get out because your trip was supposed to end 3 hours ago. So now they're like, you need to buy a second ticket. It was just bullshit. It was bullshit, and I hated it. And Stray Kids was like that. Citi Field was like that. Not the concert, the transit. But it was just really frustrating. And so... yeah, now our hack is definitely driving. Yeah. I'm scared to say that because I feel like other people are going to do it.
Well, you have to have access to a car and the ability of somebody who's comfortable enough to drive to
in New York.
In New York, because it really is like a no man's land of like, you just have to be comfortable driving real hard to be driving through there.
For sure.
Now, going to Newark, New York, it's always kind of convenient for us because it's just an easy route.
And we lived in a city, so we do city driving.
We know. Yeah. And it's not convenient for everybody. So, and especially if you're bringing like a certain amount of people, it's sometimes just transit is easier. So ultimately, in the end, that's still going to be the case. I just think now for us, we know that driving is kind of the best bet to get to anything inside the city that's like event based.
And I don't want to carry so much stuff.
Yeah.
So leaving stuff in the car is cool. And I need snacks.
Yeah, and tailgating is really fun. Okay, and that's what we got to do a little bit.
I think K-pop should embrace tailgating more.
A little bit more. Not just in front of the venue either. Because like, yes, those are fun.
not
talking about like in the parking lot if it's open, which they have purposely been opening the parking lots later and later for those events, but we'll talk later other venues. But like we got like a nice like Italian sub and like some snacks and some drinks and some drinky drinks, and we were like, okay, like we're gonna go and we're gonna get there a little bit early, park the car, go to the bathroom, and then just like eat and feel comfortable and make sure that we're like not gonna pass out from dehydration because it's been warm, it's been hot. And so we were like, and it was nice because it was a Sunday, so it was very easy and simple. And we got some food in our system, and then we got to walk over, and there was still a lot of time left before we had to go inside.
They had porta potties in the parking lot at Citi Field for ATEEZ, and I was actually really grateful for that because I do remember last year when we got to ATEEZ, there wasn't an area you could go to the bathroom until you got into the venue. And so I was super grateful realizing that, okay, even for anyone future reference, if you go to Citi Field, even if you don't get into the venue, if you find a parking lot, they have like a good like 6 to 7 porta potties there, and a lot of them were like the handicap accessible ones, so you had a little bit more space, so it wasn't just like cramped and hot and stinky. So that was a big plus. That was a huge deal. Loved that.
They love that shit hard. But no, it was nice, and we got to still like spend some time outside of Citi Field in the kind of courtyard area, seeing a lot of people. They had dancers.
They had a pop-up that day too, right?
They did. They had a pop-up. I didn't get to go inside of it, but it's fine.
Wasn't it just for cup sleeves though?
It was cup sleeves. They had one that was like a photo thingy from a radio station. There's a couple of different ones that are pop-ups there. It was pretty good. There was the pop-up that was in like Midtown as well, which was the one where they ended up going to the day before. They ended up showing up, and that was
someone DM'd us the shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah. I forget your at, but someone DM'd us the videos of them getting in and out of the cars from the pop-up. Which is interesting.
That was fun.
Please don't stalk your idols.
Well, the good thing about that was that everyone was going just for the pop-up. And they just showed up randomly. Like they weren't supposed to be there. And then they ended up doing a fan sign. So we were very much, the way I would not be okay with that, I'm just gonna say that right now, I would be sitting there like, why would you do this? Because I did not come here prepared to see you. I came here prepared to get my little album and feel
you're like, I'm in my PJs.
And I'm like, that's not,
I was not ready.
We also only had days to the album because the album only came out that Friday. So I'm like, I'm not ready. Anyway, But we got inside. We ended up, obviously, we were sitting separately from your mother and your nephew, so we said our goodbyes tearfully as we went to walk. We tearfully said our goodbyes as we walked to our amazing seats on the floor. We got in to say that it was so much easier than when we had to go in the first year. Because that was stressful because they knew it was about to rain, so they were just like cattling us in like we were. I know it's called a bullpen, but we felt like cattle the first time. It was crazy. Yeah. But this time was very like easy. Put the little thing on. We were like, okay, cool. We're here. We're on the floor. My god sister was like, oh, this is how it feels. I said yes. There was a drink stand right near us, and thankfully we also ended up sitting next to some vibey ass people.
Yeah, shout out to y'all.
Yeah, shout out to Reese, Malik, and Xiomara. They were super sweet. We ended up interviewing all three of them. They were all from like different places: Virginia, Arizona, New York. Yep. And different levels of ATEEZ as well, which is really, really cool. Super excited. Super lit. There was a lot of time for the concert, and those drinks were expensive. Yeah. That will be a running theme in these recaps. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah. The tickets are expensive, the drinks are expensive.
Yeah, and I know that's how the stadiums make money, but like that's like
unfair advice probably coming at you. Mm-hmm. Pre-game. Mm-hmm. You have to.
That's why the tailgating's nice.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Because if that's what you want to be a part of your experience. But yeah, don't go in there and buy any drink because it's gonna be $25.
And it's gonna be like a shot.
It's gonna be one twisted tea that's this big, and it's gonna cost you $25.
Yeah, and the special drinks they had, Reese was. I think they said that it had like a shot. Yeah, it had the mason jar, but it was like a half shot of vodka in it. It was cute.
It was aesthetically pleasing.
It was adorable.
I don't know what it had to do with a lemon drop or anything like that because I didn't see anybody with a lemon drop.
We feel less so than LA and other places didn't have as many themed drinks.
Yeah.
So, but it's.
Were we the first? No, we weren't. We weren't first.
Second. Atlanta's first.
Right.
Atlanta's
Stop it in Atlanta first.
That was
ghetto.
It was ghetto. And that's exactly where he got that. Yeah, I know he got that bus down from Atlanta.
Yes, he probably did.
And they're right across from the Beyonce
hair
concert.
And makeup. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so everyone was like, which concert you going to? And it was like, what's funny is it was like, there's a through line of the outfit.
Yeah, because like country look. Yeah.
It's like, and that's when we were going to one day and the other. So I found
y'all so lucky we were not in Atlanta because we would be tweaking the out trying to get to both the same day.
I'll be sitting there going to the soul food like conveyor belt line store, like a place, and then they have a conveyor. Yes, it's fun.
For Beyonce?
No, there's like a place near it that's like sort of like how the conveyor belt sushi is, but
yeah.
We got to interview those amazing people, and they were so nice, so sweet, and there was a lot of people around us in general who the level of excitement and anticipation was like very clear. Yeah. Everyone was very respectful as well, and very just like ready and tight and prepared. Toy. Like they were like they said, we got this together. My first like real pro of this concert is that unlike last year, and not saying that that's like in a comparative way, but just in a thing that happens when you evolve and grow, they are very clearly a lot more confident. Yes. Yep. And it showed from the second they came on.
Yeah.
I went, oh, okay, you are feeling yourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was palpable, and it made it so that someone like my god sister who had never really seen them before was like, whoa.
Yeah, and it was fucked up.
It was commanding. She was fucked up. Because it was just like, oh, these are people who know what they are, know what they want to do, and we're doing it hard. Yeah. I was like, this is a lot. I'm a fan. Also, starting with Bouncy was really, really fun for me. Because it's a it's a good hype song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they start with a good song. Part of me was missing So Hard, Crazy Form. In the start song, but I understood why for this concert it wouldn't be the starter. So I get it. My one little gripe is that during the little medley they had, I wish they had done the whole song. I know that they're not going to because it's a medley and there's purposely so they could cut down the songs and have them all just one after the other. I understand why you did it. But
it's like you're doing Shaboom, but not okay.
With this set list, I could tell there was a lot of influence from what they have been hearing for the past year since the Golden Hour albums have been coming out, because there were a lot of things that people were like, they wanted Man on Fire really badly. They wanted Blind very badly. I also like both of those songs. And then they wanted Shaboom really badly too, because of the way in which it kind of is so out of left field in terms of the sound. So I understood why it was there.
But it didn't fit because of that.
Yeah. Now, I think, truthfully, my belief is that it's not so much that it didn't fit because of how the song sounds. I don't think it fits because of the way it was performed on stage.
Yeah.
But I also don't hate certain elements of it. I love, because give me going any day and doing
that opening
is crazy. But it's one of those things where, like, I always will have, like, a tiny bit of beef with the dance crew that handles their choreography sometimes.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, like,
because she said a tiny bit.
Like, a tiny bit. No, fuck Vata. We don't fuck with him. But the crew itself in general,
that
sometimes
circle fucking.
No, so part of some of their choreos, I'll always be like, this is a really interesting choreo. I definitely have, like, some things with that I always think are very interesting. It's not with all of them, though, because certain choreos are, like, giving chef's kiss. Like, I'm really,
for sure.
And I think that part of it has to do with how they do it, because, like, when you do have really good dancers, they can take some, like, interesting choreo pieces and kind of rework them, because, like, certain elements of, like, Say My Name were done by a black choreographer, and those pieces are, like, still very much alive and well in that choreo. And it's just, you could sometimes tell, okay? Like, work is a great choreo, and I really appreciate it, and I like the formations there. But yeah, no, I definitely will say I just was very much like, oh, okay, like, in the crux of what the concert was, I would have expected other songs to show up because of the vibe of the concert. So, like Desire and things, but like I also
Deja Vu.
Yeah, but I also know that part of the gripe I have with K-pop in general, and that's to do with, like, how they're prepping for their tours abroad, is that they have this, I don't know if, and maybe that's me reading too much into it, but it seems as though there's this, like, heaviness on what you think Western audiences like versus other things because of what is popularized here versus, because I know for a fact that, like, people here aren't speaking heavily on Desire as a song. They're not even speaking heavily on Deja Vu as a song. Like, they were speaking higher on Halazia as a song, so that when you switched it...
But Halazia was kind of sexy.
It 100%.
So...
But it's also one of those things that since they've done the song, they performed at every single thing, which it is one of their staple songs, so that's also part of the reason I was a little surprised it wasn't there. Yeah. And it also was one of the heavy fan chant songs, so I was surprised. But at the same time, I understand why you were like, okay, if we're trying to change a different vibe and you have a lot of anthem-based songs, like, you wanted to kind of create an easier filter for the fact that a lot of the Golden Hour songs are not they're not the formula of ATEEZ from before last year.
And that's okay. Yeah. I think that's actually a really good thing. I think we're seeing a slow adjustment into them trying to, maybe not actively, but into them creating music where they are using every member a little bit more so that Jungkook can get a fucking break. Because I think Love You Dog, he needs a fucking break. Because he's been singing the house down, a whole team on his motherfucking back for a minute. And, like, as a vocalist, that's a lot of fucking work. And to do multiple concerts tonight, and then y'all wonder why Jungkook's on vocal rest or why Jungkook's sick. Like, that's why. This is not attainable for any, like, even, like, I'm talking opera singers, I'm talking, like, adult professionals, not to mention, like, he is still growing. Like, he's still in his early 20s, like, his voice is still kind of settling. So, like, that's a lot to put on the chords. That's a lot on the chords. He got a lot on the chords. Lot on the chords. So, like, nodes. It's on the nose, bro. So, like, for me, I like seeing them adjust to utilizing everything. Because the other thing is, they've been professional for a while now.
Yes.
So they know what everyone's skills are. I think the key that you said earlier was that now everybody has confidence.
Yes.
But they know what the skills are.
Yeah. And
they're very aware. We saw the solos this time, which was a completely new thing from them, because usually we were dealing with subunits. Having the solos was, like, such a clear, because, I mean, and you and I even talked about the fact that with Wooyoung, there was so much growth there vocally that was happening, because no tea, no shade. During It's You last year, like, it was not as solid. And even watching, like, we watched so many fan cams. Guys, like, so many It's You fan cams, okay? And, even during that, it was not consistent vocally. No. He had some really great nights, and then he had some nights that were not consistent. Yeah. And so to see him be able to perform Sagittarius by himself and be fairly consistent from most of the fan cams I've seen. Yeah. He's pretty consistent. Mm-hmm. That is such an arc, and I don't think people realize, like, how much work that takes. Yeah. That's hard to fucking do.
It's real hard.
And that's on top of his regular rehearsals that he has to do for the rest of the group and for, the new launch and comebacks and all that. So I just, that to me, I think that they're definitely coming into an age where we're seeing who they are. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about how they're using everyone. Mm-hmm. But I do agree. I wish that the set list was a little bit more cohesive, especially for the theme that we're on. I think the solos were on theme. Mm-hmm. I think this whole last album was on theme. Mm-hmm. But the other songs that they pulled from previous albums were not on theme. No. And if y'all, and the gag is, y'all were hot enough that even if people weren't gaga over the songs, you could have made it on theme.
You could have made it work, yeah.
You could have made it on theme. So it was just, and I felt like maybe part of that is because the turnaround from the previous tour and everything was so quick that they just didn't have enough time to really look through and pull.
They were doing a lot in between.
Yeah.
Like, a lot was happening in between tours.
Yeah.
Speaking on how fast these groups are going on tour and how regularly they are. Now, there can be two truths at once where...
You love this fucking saying lately.
I do.
Go off, please.
I do. It's my, there could be 100 people in the room and you just need one person to know. But I think that there can be like multiple realities at once where you're like, okay, like they are definitely being worked a lot and touring is really, really hard. Not just on like the voice and the abilities of what you do as performers, but it's hard on the body, it's hard mentally on people. You're traveling all over the place, you're in a new place, you're away from home, you're all over the place. Like, it's a lot. Now, it also can be true though that a lot of the times what these performers will say, and it is the truth, is that they feel the most content doing the job that they're doing when they are touring because it has actual interaction with people.
Yeah.
And they can feel the effects of why it is they do what they do and feel reinvigorated to keep doing it. Like, so I know that's part of the reason that a lot of the times they are going to jump into it happily. Even if we want to sit there and be like, these companies keep sending them on tour and they're being overworked. Okay, but I feel like maybe you should listen to them and actually hear them and maybe take them seriously and see it as sincere when they say that they actually really want to keep doing that. Because a lot of the time it feels like they want to tour more often than they want to do any other stuff.
It's funny because people will read into that and be like, they need a break, they need to chill. And no one said that they need a break and they don't want to tour. And meanwhile, like, they'll say, hey, stop coming to my house, please leave me alone. And y'all don't hear that.
Speaking of overstepping boundaries, I'm gonna go back to Uyung for a second because that has been a topic of conversation in general. There is a reality where as fans and as people who consume the things that these people do, because they are people as well as performers, that we tend to lean a bit heavy on the caring for your idols that you like. I understand why, believe me, like you're human for feeling that way. I'm not going to sit here and knock you for having feelings and being concerned because we're human and we see them as humans. The problem is that the seeing them as human part kind of gets thrown out the window sometimes with the feeling that you have power over them or that you have the right to speak your opinions so forcefully upon them. They are people who go through their different seasons, who are going through their stuff. I understand, like, you're allowed to sit there, and if you feel concerned, I'm not going to invalidate that concern. Feel it. That's great. But do not have the audacity to step into a line that you paid hundreds of dollars to go to and tell them to their faces or tell them online or whatever means you have, like, you're feeling so deeply in a way where you think it's just because you have this weird infantilized concern over them when, like, they're adults and they can figure it out. If they can't and it's something that you feel the need to, okay, but again, you have no right over these people. I'm just gonna say that right now. So if you have a thing about, like, people's weight or them changing or adjusting or whatever, you can have your feelings, but, like, don't talk about it in the freaking send-off line.
What Adia's trying to say is that's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
And you don't get to control his weight, whether he got an eating disorder or not. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what
and it's your journey, because the one thing about, I don't know if y'all don't know how to be human beings, but the one thing you're taught when you're like, you have a friend who has something like that going on, if it was actually happening, because again, we don't know his life, and also the dude has an illness, so like we're not gonna sit here and pretend like it has nothing to do with that. He's a biker as well, so his slimming has for different reasons. But like, as someone who has had friends who had dealing with like different eating disorders or dysmorphia or anything, the first thing that you are literally like supposed to do is like change the way in which you approach conversation about it, because even if it's like we know that's happening, you're not supposed to go to somebody who's having that issue and be like, hey, I know you're it's the worst thing to do, or make a comment because you're trying to overcompensate for the fact they don't feel good about themselves about how good they look. Like, you're not supposed to do any of that stuff. That's
what's crazy is I can't even say it's all Young. It's not even just ATEEZ. I mean, ATEEZ send-off was bad this year. I will say that.
Bad, yeah.
ATEEZ send-off was bad this year. But, and this is us saying from just being chronically online girlies, okay? This is just us doing our job. We have never done a send-off.
No. I'm not interested in it.
Yeah. I don't like the vibes.
No.
And that's just me. Mm-hmm. Hey, do you. Mm-hmm. And I do like when we get to see like nice interactions on TikTok, on Instagram, on social media.
Yeah.
I love that. But for the most part, they're not. For the most part, they're like, oh my God, somebody, oh my God, you're so good. Oh my God, your voice is so good. Oh my God, you're so handsome. Thank you.
Yeah. And you hardly get any interaction either. It's like, it's kind of like they have to pass through you. Yeah. You get like to have something that's yours, but it also opens up too much room for people who have enough money and audacity to do things that are a little bit overstepping. Yeah. Coming from that theater background of like, after I finish a 2-hour show, I want to go the fuck to bed. Yeah. I do not want to talk to someone. Oh my God, you're so good. Respectfully, you don't even know what my job entails, so your opinion is nice. Yeah. And it's sweet that like,
but it doesn't really
care. And I know that like they care so much about
the fans
and wanting to interact with them and wanting to have a moment. The way in which y'all are choosing to do like Hongdae memes and other things, like it's giving weird. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. But what wasn't weird was the actual performance that was put on that stage. That was my segue. Yeah. Let me have a bad segue. Okay. I want to talk about the solos. Okay. So. This was the first concert that ATEEZ has had where they got to do solo songs, because it was the first album that had them. We had only gotten maybe 2 days with those songs, so we didn't really know them. Yeah. But I was really excited, except for Sagittarius, of course, because that had been out for a minute. But to get to see them was really exciting. I have a question, though. So I have 2 different types of favorites. One that was just my favorite in general for the night, and one that was my favorite performance that was put on. What was your favorite performed solo?
That's a hard one to answer, because I do feel like a lot of the performed solos were in a similar vein. They were all in the same vibe. It was Yeosang.
Same answer.
See, that's why
the same answer. Yeah, we're gonna the same answer.
It was Yeosang. It was Kang Yeosang.
It was freaking Legacy.
It was Kang motherfucking song.
I felt, because the energy also kind of shifted. Because I will say, like, my second favorite performed solo was Yuno's Slide With Me, but it was done like a little earlier, and it was the first one done, and the sun was still out. And even though some people might say that shouldn't have a thing against it, I feel like if there was complete darkness as that was being performed, it would have had a different clear suavite, in my opinion. That's just me, because anytime it was performed in a closed arena since then, I've been like, oh yeah, no, it's exactly that song. But and performance, he's just in a 3-piece suit, like throwing it. But no, Yeosang's was, it felt so nice, because part of the thing with him especially is that he kind of gets like faded into the background a lot. So he is truly one of the few out of the 8 who we don't really have a clear picture of like what his vibe is aside from when they're just all together. So like, I was not gonna sit there and know exactly what a Yeosang song was gonna be like, or a performance. And I was pleasantly just entertaining.
Well, that is a performance line. Okay.
100%.
Okay. The other thing I want to say about Mr. Kangyo's song is it's funny to note that the anthem vibe sound is actually something that he likes.
He loves that, yeah.
That is so interesting. Because having a solo song, and granted, like, I think everybody worked on it.
Everyone wrote on their solos, yeah.
But so the fact that he, like, created this project, and I also want to say the 3 line with the feathers T.
Yeah.
Because it is you. Yeosang is one of those performers that you have no choice but he just naturally pulls focus.
Yeah.
And so when he's the center, it was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna miss anything.
Nope.
You know, like you have no choice. You have no choice but to stand. Yeah. That is a performer.
Yeah.
And vocally stunning. Visually stunning. I mean, he pulled one move where he was like in like a half bridge and being held by someone else. And this like the slight ab show and the like, fucking like arm dexterity and the definite like just go home.
Attention to detail.
Go home. I can't.
Gorgeous. I was like, okay. And it wasn't just like all about what you were seeing. It was about like I could feel something that I think is really, really important and integral about when you're going to a concert that is mainly done within a language that most people in the entire vicinity of the place do not speak, is that feeling what it is that you're doing is important because, yes, we're fans, so most of us do know what they're talking about because we literally have been sitting there and listening to the songs and we know what it's talking about. We know
but the album was new.
But the album was new, so you don't really know. And then not only that, like, there were going to be people there who also just don't know. And we did have people there who didn't. And to say that, like, he did a perfect job of encapsulating what it is that this is supposed to be through performance that may not be, like, the easiest through line of the source material of the song, but it felt like, okay, this is a rise above, like, deeper fit, like, you felt it. And so my god sister, she was saying, like, yeah, no, that, like, messed me up because it was a man with abs and feathers and it still conveyed what it needed to convey. You did what you needed to do, sweetie. I applaud you. I adore you. Just amazing job, Kangyo song. Just no notes. Also, speaking of Kangyo song, I'm gonna shout out this person in a bad way. I fucking don't like you. There's this lady whose name I don't know, and I don't care to because you mean nothing to me, who tried to scam my friend here because she wanted to get a freaking shirt.
Here's what happened. There's resale apps. I'm a hippie, and I tried to not buy clothes from Amazon and Shein. I try to not support fast fashion. So most of my clothes are bought through like secondhand vendors online. And so I found on Mercari, one of those sites, this person who was selling a shirt that said Yeosang Lover. And I was like, oh my God, like, yeah. And it was like embroidered and it was really cute. And it was like a crop top and it was yellow. So it was perfect with the lemon drop theme. It was from Towards the Light, but I liked it anyway. And I was like, yeah, I want to buy that. And basically like, she talked to me enough to realize that I wasn't a solo Yeosang stan, and then got upset that I wasn't a solo stan, and then didn't let me buy this shirt. But I am a Yeosang lover, and I will get my fucking Yeosang lover shirt.
Yeah.
Anyway, story time.
Rude. Also, I'm not a fan of solos because you can be into one person heavily and still respect
the group. Because they like the group. That's why they're in the group.
Yeah. It's weird. It's
very weird.
Unless they like did something like you don't have any reason.
Also, like you love Yeosang to death, but he need them.
Yeah. Because that was the concert where he went to go find Lemonade, and that
was the Lemonade concert.
Yes. Actual song that was performed in the night though had to be N01 by Mr. Hongju.
Kim Hongju.
Yeah, like our captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Because the way in which I will say, like, it's not that has never happened at any concert for me before, but the way to be going to a K-pop group's concert and have a rave.
Yeah.
Like, that everyone erupted into and truly was, like, fully in. Like,
it was fun.
It was fun. Like, I looked around and our entire row, the entire section, the entire, like, space, everyone was just like, yes, Yes, yeah, it was just so fun, and it gave such a liveliness to everything. It drove home for me how different each song was in its own different way, and especially with him because he is like one of the main contributors to like their sound and their songwriting and production. So like letting him just kind of have a DJ set.
Yeah, I love to watch him explore, and honestly, like when we listened to the album, when it came out, that was one of the songs where I was like, okay, interesting, yeah. But then seeing it, that is a fun song to throw ass to. That was fun. That was so fun. And it was like the perfect palate cleanser for all the like overly sexy, like, I'm going to strip my shirt off and I'm going to
you're like, so it was a different version of, it was unabashedly having fun version of it still fit the theme though in its own
because
way.
It's Hongjoong.
Yeah.
And his little sassy walks and that was the performance where the sound went out. No, during the number.
It was during?
Sound went out during the number. Apparently he was looking at the audience and trying to figure out like where he was.
Because the sound in his ears went out.
Yes, the inner ear went out.
Yeah.
And then after that, the mics went out.
Everything.
So he was just kind of, and he had a little bit of choreo that I believe he did.
Yes.
And so he was trying to watch his background dancers and watch what was happening on the screen to know when he had to do stuff, which is just so professional. They don't make them like that over here.
What's it like when you don't have sound and you still do the choreo?
Kim Hongjoong, Love You BB. Everyone else's solos were amazing. They were great. I just think that as artists, they are still in the earlier phases of figuring out what they're going to be and what their sound is going to be and who they want. And Hongjoong just stood out as overall favorite because of that juice. Because Hongjoong knows who he is, and I think I guess the closest who would be to him as far as like that production level and understanding their sound and stuff would be Mingi.
The sound went out and they were kerfuffled because they were like running around like, how do we communicate with this whole stadium full of people? And we were just screaming. That's the one thing about come to America as you want, because the fact of the matter is we will sit there and not know what you're saying and not care. We'll be like, well, we love you, because we do. And we were just like, we
started to know music.
Yeah, we started to know music. And they were like, sorry, 5 minutes, please. We were like, oh, the sound went out. Got it. Amazing. And it took a minute because Mingi's solo was the one that was up next. And then he started his solo. And the one thing I will say about Mingi is he very clearly, even if like it's still very experimental with the way in which he's figuring out his music style, he does know himself very, very well. He knows who he is
as a performer,
and it commands the space he's in very easily. If I'm gonna be so for real, out of all of them, he probably has the most command of the space. Because
he has star power.
It made everyone who even was like, people who are complaining about the amount of barking you get were still barking. So like it just gave.
It's just funny because it was very Leo or very Gemini and not Leo.
Yeah.
Because the way he is off stage is not that. But now I will say him in a send off line is that.
Oh, another reason I can't do that, because what are you gonna do? Because I'll sit there and be like, stop it, and he's not gonna know what to do. Because I'll be like, stop.
Give me a phone.
I'd be like, no.
Why are you yelling at people who pay to?
What's he gonna do if I say no?
I don't know. He's probably gonna
be like, sign this, and I'm be like, oh, I'm a dick now, and people hate me.
When he came up and he was like, have the cards out, cards.
There was the one that was today that was like, well, this is gonna be cut, but the one today that was like, he was like, what's your name? And then she was like, he's like, you don't know your name? he was like concerned. He wasn't trying to be a bitch. He was like, you don't know your name? He was like, oh my god.
That's so
I was like, I love this man.
That's so funny.
A lot of elements were part of the reason that like the way we left towards the light was a lot more introspective and a beautiful feeling because of kind of a lot of different factors that were involved there.
Including the rain.
Yes, but the one thing I left with this concert feeling was that, oh, they're hungry still and here to stay, which is the thing that matters the most, especially when they're going into like, they just renegotiated their contract and they're going to continue on for 7 more years and they're going to like figure some stuff out, and they obviously have taken on the space of being the group, especially within 4th Gen, who is going to be leaning into this more adult route.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited to see because they are very good at it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what they choose to do, and I'm really happy with the show that was put on because it made believers out of non-believers.
Okay, so what was your serve of the concert?
My serve of the concert. Okay, my serve of the concert. The moment, whenever, and it kind of coincides with my Stray Kids one. One thing about ATEEZ is that they love each other down. You could tell, like, very much at the back.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of moments that are continuous with the tour as well, where there will be a moment between two members that they, like, take a moment together and have a little thingy. So my serve of the concert, truly and honestly, other than the fact that it was just exceptional and amazing, is that moment in Lemon Drop when Mingy and Yuno decide to like do their little like we're on our own, having our little moment together as two people who used to dance together and are now in a group together, and you can feel it and it's palpable even in the back of the dance. But it like the other members are aware of it happening and get so happy. So there's this whole moment, and it's right before you do the fan chant, which we did forget to do completely, but only because a lot of people in our area weren't doing the fan chant.
No, we did Ice on My Teeth fully, and everybody was like what? Except for like the two other people in a row. And so I was like, okay,
sad.
That's made me sad. But
it was beautiful because it kind of just drove home like what people pull from this group, especially too. Just like a lot of it in K-pop has to do with the personality along with the music and performance, and it made me feel really, really happy and vibey within that moment because I was also feeling the exact like palpable energy that they were feeling, and everyone around me was feeling the same thing. Bridge of just enjoyment and letting go of all the rest of it and just being in the moment and enjoying something together, and that was so freeing to feel in this like crazy, terrible, no good, very bad times that we're feeling. Just gonna be honest there.
Yeah, deep. Okay, wow, my answer was not as...
It doesn't have to be deep like that.
Okay. The serve of the concert. I think I feel obligated to give it to Sungha because that is my bias.
That's fair.
But I don't have any specific moment. Honestly, that concert for me was very Wooyoung and Yeosang focused. It really was.
Fair.
They gave what needed to be given, and I was here to fucking yuck it up. I loved it. Listen, man, and honestly, like, I think truthfully, my serve will be Wooyoung's vocal change. That was a stunner for me because shout out 10. Well, not shout out 10. No NCT. Anyway, that was that was a shocker for me because I was not expecting him to have been, because I mean we saw Sagittarius, we knew what Sagittarius was, but he hadn't performed it like by himself really. So we didn't know what that performance was gonna look like. We didn't know that he was slowly gonna get naked. We didn't know what the frick was happening. So and he is also coming into his own as far as having stage presence. When we talk about like trainees who were definitely were of note, you know, when they talk about how he and Yeonjun were kind of like neck and neck for a bit at that kind of thing. Like I can see it. Yeah. I can see it. And you know, also to see him hold his own on a space by himself and not have it be dancing focused is a big deal because that's not he to me, and you know I'm not a Wooyoung bias, I'm a wrecker, but he to me is making a lot of changes and a lot of strides where I feel as a lot of these other guys have found their pocket. Wooyoung is still growing, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I want to see where this goes, you know? Yeah. And they all have great pockets, and they know how to work their pockets now, which is really nice. Like, Sungha. Oh, no. Actually, I'm going to change it like 3 times. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Actually, my serve is that random fucking moment where Sungha does that little hand thing. What is that?
Freaking Man on Fire at the end of that.
Yeah, when he's just like,
I you know what?
Yeah. Also, Mingy's add-ins for this whole album. Like,
I love an ad-lib by Mingy.
What is he talking about? He must be saying all kinds of shit.
Followed closely by Hongjoong, because he loves that.
Yeah, fucking Mats. Yeah.
That was just Mats.
When are we getting another Matt song, guys?
Yeah.
What's up? I need another
What are you afraid of?
And the other thing I was going to say is, as an encore song, right? I think it was House in a Home.
Oh, yes. That was sweet.
I like that song. That was actually one of the songs on the album that I was like, yes. Absolutely.
I like that pocket.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I like that pocket for your song because, oh my God, we can use baritones.
Yes.
Oh my God, bass baritones can be like the chorus for K-pop, a non average pull.
No.
So yeah, love that. Love seeing that. That moment of Songa and Yuno. Yeah. Their little harmony at the end, because I feel like the first few nights you could see that Yuno was like, here's your no.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh.
But there was like a moment of, and that's also like, it kind of goes back to that whole like moment of connectivity. That it's extremely important to see those moments, because it kind of is the moments when you could tell they're the most comfortable, they're the most themselves, and they're laying it bare for you. And so that moment between the two of them was like really beautiful for me.
Yeah.
Also, baby, you pulled during that concert. The amount of times he got screen time, each time he was locked in.
He did.
Locked in. Don't get me started on We Know.
She was like, what's the deal with the hands thing? And I was like, I can't explain it to you. I'm not a girl.
What do you mean?
You gotta ask one of them. You gotta ask our producer.
What do you mean? I'm sorry, Suga, hands. All over. Suga. And I'm happy that you got to experience it with me and have to hold me back from my feralness.
Yeah. Adia becomes a different person during concerts, and it's honestly really fun.
I have a problem.
I would love for more people to come to concerts with us so they could see it, because at this point, like, we're trying to do live streams and stuff.
Yeah.
And she can't hold a camera still, so I'm
holding it for the freaking vlogs. At least doing that.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I know myself and I have to go, okay, I need to be in this moment right now because I'm a human being and I can't
I'm a human being.
I'm a human being. I can only be so much, right?
Yeah.
I can't hold a camera and also bark aggressively. It's a lot, because that's not fair to our viewers.
Right.
It's not.
So yeah.
So I'm gonna have my little moment. I can't hold a camera and also like pay attention to the hands.
So please watch the vlogs, because Adia works really hard editing them, and I work really hard getting all of the film.
She did. she really did do that. Because
she can't be trusted.
I can't be trusted.
She can't be trusted. That's our show, kids.
Yes.
We have all of our social media handles linked in the bio. Like, follow, subscribe. If you want to listen to us, we have a whole podcast on this kind of stuff. So if you want to listen to more than just our concert recaps, go look us up wherever you listen to podcasts, except for Apple Music.
Yeah.
And we're probably there. And while you're there, you can leave us a review. You can give us 5 stars. You can give us 4 stars. You can probably don't give us anything less than that. Yeah. But you could do all those things. So thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And hopefully we'll see you at the next concert.
Here we go.
Bye. ATEEZ.